Hello, my love. And just like Chili said, hi, listeners. Welcome to Auntie Derek's Daytime Tea. And today looks like it is November 21st. Woo, honey, this year's just flying by.
I wish it would slow down because, baby, next year,
Ooh, honey. Look, let's just enjoy our freedom while it lasts. Because, oh, woo, honey.
I'm not looking forward to January.
You and me both.
But fortunately, well, I'm not going to say fortunately or unfortunately, I don't think we'll be in as much trouble as some other groups that we know of.
Yeah.
It's not going to be very nice for them.
Yep.
Someone brought up a good point, Auntie, about the bill banning trans women from the bathroom.
No, what
And
they say?
well, the total bill says that you have to go to the bathroom of the gender of your birth gender.
Mm-hmm.
And some other politician posted on that other chat site. Um, they didn't even consider that trans men would be forced to use the women's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
How they gonna like that?
Exactly. And AOC. I actually saw a clip. I forgot who she was talking to, but it was a bunch of reporters. But she was
Hmm.
like, "Yeah, you need to call it what it is. Like, if they do implement something like this, how do they plan on enforcing it? That means you're gonna have to like look at someone's genitals."
Right.
So,
Uh, they just go by how you look and just put you out. I mean, basically, that's how I see it happening. You could be a
yeah.
masculine looking woman. I mean, every masculine looking woman isn't a trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one thing, as much as I miss my bald head since, my surgery, this is the one thing that keeps me from shaving all my hair off again, is because of the climate in this country.
And that's sad
It really is. Because I really have considered doing it again, but now that, I'm
because
flat
the
footed.
listeners don't know, honey. I saw some throwback pics of you, honey, now, especially the one with you in that helicopter and you was rocking that bald head.
I loved it. I loved it. But alas, I think it would be safer if I didn't, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Hey, Chris.
Chris, hey boo, and I was like, let me spare him because I already probably done traumatized him when we were talking about Chris Sales, and he was like, okay, please use this man last name because he actually responded to the backlash that he was getting about his pee, and he was
Oh,
pretty much saying I was gonna, but I was like, you know what, now because it was a video clip I had to share, and while I'm using this hotspot, I don't think it would have shared right, but he pretty much said in a
oh, I
nutshell that
have
his
no
thing is
idea
not
about this video.
small. He was saying how his thing is not small and it curves. So it was just the angle of the photo that he took in. And then
Oh, okay.
and then he asked for the people to stop calling him BBL sales.
Wow. Yeah, those angles will get you, huh?
They don't know, yeah, according to him.
Okay, then.
I'm like, sir, just embrace your meat. Embrace the meat that you have and what got and like what they say on Nutty Professor, you got to suck in your gut and strut.
Work with what you got, baby. It ain't about
Hmm.
size for real, you know, or height.
Yep.
If you know what you're doing in the bedroom, you could really not even worry about the size or how tall you are. Because a lot of men that have all that do not know nothing about women's bodies.
Wake it up.
So,
The orgasm gap proves that.
yes, ma'am.
Look, my favorite Taurus is here.
Uh oh.
Hey, boo.
Nice man in the house. Hi, Will.
Good morning, T. My knives are being cleaned at the moment, so everyone is safe.
Yay!
I don't believe that. I don't believe that second part, but okay.
I don't know. You might pull them out with some of the stories that we have today.
I
Oh
think he got
God.
one on the side for sure. Ain't no way you cleaning every night, honey. We don't believe you, Will.
But that's okay.
Well, let's go ahead and get started with the tea, horny.
Tea time.
Yes. And let's start off with the latest Diddy news. Well, it's not really. Well, I guess you can say it's news because you remember yesterday we was talking about how Meek Mill's 27th birthday party and the things that were left behind according to the property manager and all that.
Yes.
So Meek Mill took to his Twitter to offer support and he sent Diddy some well wishes. And because this is a page six article, I'm gonna have to put in the chat because you know how those page six we don't like them
Mm-hmm.
on this site for some reason. But basically, in a nutshell, and I actually just checked Meek's Twitter. It looks like he might have deleted this because maybe he was getting a lot of backlash. But he says, and I quote, they putting black men in jail off stories. I wish Puff well. He's a black man, and I hope he didn't do most of that shit they saying he did. Why y'all so scared to talk? Y'all must got shit in the closet. My past the streets, it's nothing to hide. So I kind of wish that Ashley was here because I feel like the people of Philly need to have a meeting. Cause baby,
Why people always opening their mouths when they should shut up? I don't get it. Just be
So he's
quiet.
defending
when
his
it
man.
yeah. Oh, and honestly, when it comes to somebody like Meek Mill, this is kind of on brand for him. He's always kind of known for saying the wrong thing.
I
He gets
know.
ate up on.
I know.
I have to give it to him. He does have some thick skin, because woo, honey, they be eating his ass up online, and rightfully so. But he
They
usually
do.
he claps back.
They do. And he does. He should just be quiet, though. Just be quiet.
Well, allegedly, that's not the only thing he was clapping, but I'll leave that alone.
Oh my God!
He's always getting ate up online. I don't get it. Hey Marcia.
Hey, my Jamaican queen. So yep, that was the
Oh,
only Diddy update that I have today. That was the only one I pretty much saw in the news. So of course, anything new happens, I definitely update y'all.
mm, okay.
So the
I'm
next
waiting.
story that we have, do y'all remember? Well, I'm sure are y'all familiar with Sabrina Carpenter?
Yes.
Okay, so even if
Unfortunately.
you're not familiar with her, oh my God, even if you're not familiar with her music, you kind of know who this person is. She's very popular, especially among the younger kids.
Right.
And do y'all remember hearing a story about how a priest got in trouble for letting her shoot a music video in his church?
Oh no, I didn't hear about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there was a preacher that was under past what did it call when it's Catholic? Are they still pastors or is it
Priest.
something?
It's a
Priest, thank
priest.
you.
Mm,
So the priest, honey, he's actually in more trouble, girl. And I'm about to share an article
because the priest is a
from
priest.
CNN. Mm-hmm. And y'all see the CNN article here says NYC priest who allowed Sabrina Carpenter to shoot music video in church further stripped of his duties because they already done
Because
like
he did
told him.
what?
I was like, look, okay, this is inappropriate. Sorry,
Oh,
it was a
over
delay,
that?
Sheila. What you saying?
Over that
No.
situation?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I was gonna say he probably did something
Nope.
else.
He definitely did, girl. So let me see. I'm gonna go down to the article because it's I'm gonna read the little. I ain't gonna read the entire article for y'all, but his name is. Give me one second. Monsignor Jamie Giantiello, and he was relieved of any pastoral oversight or governance role at his church located in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And let me see. An investigation launched after the video revealed that Giantiello was allegedly assaulting a woman
Our audio host has been snatched. Stand by. That page knocked him right out of the room. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Come back. Auntie probably taking a minute to realize he's been rugged. On the tweets.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm just sitting here running my mouth, but then I realized I wasn't even connected to the internet.
I told him that's what happened. It took you a minute to realize.
I'm just running my mouth. Damn you, AT&T.
So we didn't even hear none of the reasons why this happened. So you was rugged a few minutes ago.
Damn. So, what did y'all hear the part where I mentioned that he transferred money from 2019 to 2021?
And no, no, you hadn't got
Damn.
to the good part yet.
Okay. So yeah, this actually had nothing to do. I mean, he did get some backlash and some disciplinary action from that for letting Sabrina record that video. But what
Hmm.
was the tea? He actually from 2019 to 2021, he transferred. Give me one second. Let me get back to the article. It says the Monsignor transferred $1.9 million in parish funds to bank accounts affiliated with Frank Carone. And Frank Carone is Mayor Adams' former chief of staff. It says
Oh,
Giantiello failed to seek approval for the transactions and didn't properly document them in violation of the diocese investment policies and protocols. So Frank Carone's law firm, he actually did repay 1 million of those funds, along with about a 9% interest, according to sources. But Giantiello also requested early repayment for the remainder, but without substantial interest, called for under the loan notes. So yep, he's sending church money to Mayor Adams' chief of staff
and
and
why?
wasn't properly documenting it, and didn't, and that's what I don't see because it doesn't show why he was doing that. My
Hmm.
guess would be bribery in some way or trying to get maybe some property or something.
Hmm. Hmm. Something to do with him, not the church. Something he wanted.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because you know, when this current pope came in, he demoted a lot of archbishops for having extravagant properties, you know, mansions and using church funds, living in luxury when they were supposed to be, you know, humble and helping the people. You know, they were using this money to live lavishly with pools and all this kind of stuff. So he got after a lot of them when he first was selected. So
Yep.
sound like this guy was trying to do the same thing. Okay,
Well,
welcome,
he's
Happy.
not. I don't think he's gonna be a priest any longer. Hey, Happy.
Yeah, yeah. The Pope don't play that.
Well, let's go. And if anything comes up, anything like the reason he was sending all that money comes out, I would definitely update y'all.
It had to be a reason about him.
Well, the next story I have, so do you remember? I think it was maybe last week or so we were talking about for Whoopi Goldberg's birthday. She
Yes.
said on the show that she tried to get some of her mom's favorite desserts, the Charlotte Russe cakes, and she didn't call the baker out by name, but the baker still told on themselves and came out and made a statement.
Hmm.
Now that baker is actually getting support from New York politicians.
Oh, of course.
And this lady here, Representative Nicole, and I'm sure I'm going to say her last name wrong, but Nicole Malliotakis.
Sounds good.
So she actually just let's see. Y'all see, I just shared an article from AOL. Y'all see it here on slide 3, and you'll see the headline says Rep. Malliotakis brings Whoopi Goldberg's favorite cake to the Capitol after the View co-host slammed Staten Island's Holterman's Bakery. So she says she claims that she would not she claims that they wouldn't fulfill an order of these because of her politics. That's simply not true, the lawmaker said of the View co-host. It
Mm,
says Meliotakis demanded a mea culpa from the far left comedian as she encouraged hungry lawmakers and staffers to indulge in Whoopi Goldberg's favorite treat. This is so
mm,
weird.
it's
She
stupid.
says, I think she should apologize. This is a small business, and somebody's going on national TV like that can make or break a business.
The
And she said
business.
that this bakery is an institution on Staten Island. All we ask for is an apology.
The business she never named. Okay.
The business she never named exactly. And then the weirdest thing about this is like when she took photos and stuff, it's that instead of them saying cheese, they're gonna say everybody say whoopee.
But this makes me even more pissed off at the bakery because you know why she came forward, right? She
Mm-hmm.
wanted it to be an issue. She wanted it to be talked about. She knew it would be a boom as opposed to a negativity, for her little funky bakery. She used that situation to boost her own, profile in the community.
She sure did.
Fuck her.
And unfortunately it worked.
I mean, okay.
I never had a Charlotte Russe cake in my life. Have y'all ever had that dessert?
No, and don't want one.
Well, it looked like it has whipped topping. I love me some whipped toppings, like some whipped icing. So I might try it, but it definitely won't be from that bakery.
Mm-mm. I'm a southern caramel cake, Italian cream, coconut
Mm.
cake. I don't want nothing named Charlotte Russe.
See, I was with you until you said that coconut cake. I want that coconut cake far away from me in my house.
Well, I know you don't like coconut, but coconut cake with pineapple between the layers, baby.
Oh God.
Stop it, Will. That's okay. Y'all don't have to have any. That's what we having for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Coconut cake. I don't even know what else is on the menu, but we having coconut cake.
Look, you don't even care about nothing else on the menu. All you want is that coconut.
Yeah. Yep. From Anna Garden, baby.
Oh, y'all getting the cake from Ina.
Yes. We don't play. And we've had one before. That cake was superb. You hear me? Tasted just like grandma used to make, but better
Mm,
even.
I know that's right.
That cake is on point. Well, everything from Gold Belly. I don't. I mean, I've ordered a few things. I can't say anything bad, but Anna Garden, that coconut cake, yeah, it's all that.
Well, shout out to the barefoot contestant, honey. We love her over here.
Yeah, yeah. We stand for little barefoot Contessa.
Well, our next story that we have. So sources claim that Jennifer Garner, she wants to limit her contact with Jennifer Lopez. And
Yes,
I
I
just shared a link
can.
from the Daily Mail. And pretty much the reason why is because she felt like she was used as a pawn
Mhm.
during the breakdown of Lopez's marriage to Ben Affleck.
Mhm. Jen
It,
is toxic.
uh-huh. It says in the month of it says Garner had adopted the role of marriage counselor to the struggling couple, with some friends fearing that she had been forced to play mediator. Says
Mhm.
Garner had now chosen to distance herself from Lopez and to keep any interactions focused solely on the children within their extended family. And the source says Jen no longer wishes to have communication with J-Lo unless it is to do with the kids. Her friends feel she shouldn't have allowed herself to get so involved in helping J-Lo fix her marriage to Ben. Let's see.
Well, she
It
got
says,
sucked in. She didn't know.
right. It says, especially considering Jen felt pitted against J-Lo at times during their own marriage. Jen is too nice and truly wanted to help, so she tried.
Yeah, she did. Cause she doesn't hate Ben, and she didn't hate, that he was with J Lo. I think they
Hmm.
separated as friends, but she got sucked in. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Hey Benji,
Benji, hey boo.
leave her
So
on
guess
with Jen.
so guess who just bought Jamie Renner's old house? Lizzo.
Oh, Lizzo.
And I'm sharing a TMZ link.
Now, Jeremy, isn't that the guy who was run over by the big old snowmobile thing he had? Snow
He is
plow?
indeed. Yep.
Okay.
And you see, I just shared a TMZ link that said Lizzo buys Jeremy Renner's Hollywood mansion for $12.4 million.
Go, girl.
Okay. It says that this mansion has 6 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and it also comes with a recording studio.
That's all she needs.
Hmm.
Doesn't
Says
look
the
like
mansion
her.
was originally listed for 13 million in August, but Renner still walked away with a nice profit because he bought the home for 4 million back in 2012, and then he put another 5.5 million into renovations.
Uh, the beauty must be on the inside. You can't tell much about it from the outside, but I bet it's gorgeous on the inside, though.
I bet for that amount of money, it better be.
Yeah, I'm sure it
And,
is.
and and I don't understand because usually when it comes to houses, typically the number of bedrooms supposed to outweigh the number of bathrooms. But this house has 6 bedrooms, but 9 bathrooms. Like
Well, he
they
probably
don't
added.
make sense to me.
Yeah, he probably added that with this in the renovations.
Now, so my question is, why would Germany, if he did add it, why would he need so many bathrooms?
Well, to keep people from going into other parts of the home. Maybe they had an entertainment area, a recording studio, just to keep people in those
Tou-
areas. That's all I can
Touche.
think of. And keep the more private bathrooms for the original house to him and his family.
Now, where's that article I had about Justice Smollett? I'm sure y'all heard that. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. So investment, not for living in. Okay, okay. Thank you, Happy. Happy just put that in the chat. That
Oh, it's an
makes sense.
investment. Okay.
So y'all, I'm gonna go find the article, but Justice Smollett, that the Illinois Supreme Court, they overturned his conviction.
Yeah, but not because he wasn't guilty, but because there
Right.
was already a plea deal
Mm-hmm.
that had been settled, and then they came back and tried like a double jeopardy kind of thing on
Pretty much, and that's pretty much all this article is stating. I just shared the TMZ link here on slide 6,
him. Hmm.
and it's pretty much saying reiterating exactly what Chill said. The person who was trying him, the prosecutor, he came out and spoke, and he said that he don't feel that he did anything wrong himself. Talking about himself, because he feels that the Supreme Court made a wrong decision. But oh well, I guess he respects their decision, but he feels that it's still wrong.
I'm looking at his eyes.
It, it, it do it do give a little asymmetry.
Little,
I'm seeing it.
sometimes it's not quite so obvious, but it's a little asymmetry there, just a little.
And honestly, I was on his side. I kind of believed him because the thing about him, like during the whole thing, his story never changed. So I'll
Hmm.
give him that. He never swayed away his story. Whereas the prosecution, they kept changing stories left and right.
That's true.
However, Justy does have a tendency to be like, I don't want to say a stunt queen, but I remember one. one incident where it was the season finale of Empire, and he put on his Twitter kind of his wording kind of made it seem like he wasn't going to come back next season. This was before all this even got started. He was just
Hmm.
pretty much saying, "I enjoyed my time here, filming Empire and da 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 da." So people were asking like, "Wait, are you leaving? Are you not going to be back next season? What's going on?" Da 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 da.
Hmm.
So he came out with a video and was like, and him and Gabourey Sidibe were sitting beside each other. He was like, I don't understand how y'all got that I'm leaving the show from this. I just said I enjoyed my time filming, which I did. So Gabourey pretty much corrected him like, yo, no, it's your timing, my nigga. you gonna wait. You gonna wait until the finale to post that. So yes, you can understand why people would think that.
Yeah, it sounds sort of like a goodbye.
Hmm. So he is out. So I don't know. I hate that he. I do believe he was definitely attacked. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, but what? No, never mind. We don't even want to go into that. Yes, he was. Okay.
Yeah. What else I have for y'all? So Metro Boomin and Future, they're actually going to be on the latest in the latest GQ. Oh,
Mm,
go ahead, Will.
Who is that?
If you ever heard a song on the radio that started out with Metro Boomin wants some more, nigga. He's a
uh-uh.
super producer.
I have no idea who that is. But good for him.
Nor I will.
As oh, it doesn't look like this is previewing, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put the link in the chat. But Metro Boomin famously did Kendrick Lamar's song "Not Like Us."
Oh, okay.
He's behind that, and that's what and him and Drake are kind of got a beef because of that.
Right, right.
But this article from Complex it says that Metro Boomin says fallout with Drake was due to personal issues that really hurt and disappointed him, and he tells this in an interview with GQ. Now I definitely did not know that Metro Boomin was only 31 years old. I thought he was a lot older than what he really is.
Hmm. And they're gonna be in GQ.
Uh huh.
Will, your
And
hand is still up?
the Man of the Year issue.
No, sorry, that was a bug. Man, should be okay. It should be down now.
Okay.
So he says, and I quote, "Me and Drake, we had a personal issue. And for the record, not over no girl or nothing silly like that. It was a personal issue that really hurt and disappointed me. Quiet as it kept, it sounds like a lover's quarrel, but we won't. He said, but if you take all the rap entertainment out of it, it's like, have you ever been cool with somebody and y'all just fell out over something? It happens every day. It's just regular shit. This just happens to have an audience."
Right.
And Future also commented. He was saying how a lot of fans because Kendrick being, I don't know if y'all probably don't know Future's latest single like that. It's actually I actually love the song. I twerk every time it comes on. But Kendrick Lamar is has a verse on the song, and he says in the like fuck the big three. You know how they call the big three Future, um who else? Future, Drake, and J Cole are supposed to be like the big three of the rap. That's what people
Mm-hmm.
call them.
Mm-hmm.
So Kendrick says in the song, "Nigga, fuck the big three. It's just big me." So people felt that people felt that Future should have been offended by that because like, how you let this nigga come and disrespect you on your own song? And Future was like, I didn't see it like that. So
Kendrick be spitting. I ain't lying.
he sure do. Let's see what else I got for y'all. Believe it or not, it was actually a very a lot of the news it was pretty much talking about Trump related shit and
Right.
Jesse. So.
More of that to come.
Hmm.
Some of the things will be chat worthy, such as Matt Gates taking himself out of the run for Attorney General.
He just didn't want CNN to wake up his inappropriate behavior with underage girls.
Yeah, he didn't want that report to come out or be discussed in any kind of way, and he saw that coming.
And the crazy thing is, did y'all know that it was a tweet that happened back in 2020 that kind of woke that up? Because somebody tweeted, oh, I saw it yesterday when people were talking about it. But this girl back in 2020, she tweeted, Matt sure does have like a lot of underage girlfriends on Vimeo.
Mm. Yeah, he didn't want none of that smoke.
So it
But they
appears that
said that if he didn't get the attorney general, he would be appointed to, I forget what other senator Trump has appointed to some cabinet position that that was from Florida, that he would just be given that man's seat because he can't go back to the one he vacated, but he still
hmm
will be in Congress. So he had, you know, an exit. Go ahead. Sorry.
Mm-mm. Well, LeBron James says that he's going to be getting off social media for a little bit.
Bye.
Oh, it does look like this article is sharing. Either I'm gonna go ahead and delete this and put it in the chat. Go ahead, Will.
So is that code for going back to Turkey?
Well, this time I don't think that it is, only because it appears that he's actually been getting a lot of conservatives in his replies harassing him because of his endorsement of Kamala.
Mm,
And it
yeah,
said I just
but
shared a link from Hot New Hip Hop that says LeBron James recently announced a social media break on Twitter after speaking out against the constant negativity in the sports media world, where about the topic and letting followers know that he's temporarily heading off the grid. He says, and I quote, "And with that, y'all, I holler at y'all. Getting off social media for the time being. Y'all take care." Now let's see.
thought all your knives was being clean. Well,
hmm
yeah,
Trying to
he
see
can
where,
leave.
because they said, and I was reading this article earlier.
He can go.
He sure can. You know how when you look at links from your phone, it looks different from the actual web page itself. So that's what I'm trying to find where I was reading earlier
Mm-hmm.
about this, because it said it pretty much. It was saying how his endorsement of Kamala, like, it prompted a lot of bizarre messages in his replies and stuff.
Well, of course he would be targeted. I mean,
Yeah, this the.
a lot of people were. It was, you know, not just him.
Mhm. I don't know. I just kind of LeBron for me is I be looking at him with a side eye because
Yeah.
it's like how you gonna sit there. Y'all remember how he was sitting there parading around that book that he was reading for about. It looked like he was reading that book for about a month, honestly. But the autobiography of Malcolm X, and you know how Malcolm X was like very vocal in support of black women. Like he even said
Mm-hmm.
like the most disrespected person in America is the black woman.
Right.
So for him to read that autobiography, but then still go out and support Tory Lanez after he
Mm-hmm.
shot at Megan, like that's just. So
Showed
maybe you just
himself
read the book, but you didn't comprehend.
popping to his music in the car. He can go.
Hmm
Bye bye. Won't miss him. Shut up and dribble.
That
All
part.
of that. Don't care. And little Bronny going to the G League where he belongs.
See, all of that sounds like foreign language to me. I don't know a G League, a XYZ League, or whatever.
Well, it's the
But
other
I,
league to the NBA. It's you know not it's a professional league, but of course they don't get paid like they do in the NBA. But that's where talent that's might eventually be NBA material can sometimes be up. You know, these are the people who don't make the NBA but still play fairly good, and they have
mm,
they have games just like they have an under league for the football, NFL, baseball, all the major leagues have like a junior kind of junior league thing.
no,
So I don't even know if Bronny good enough for the junior league, but okay. Will has his night.
damn.
So, Auntie, the G League is essentially the Kiki scene, like in ballroom.
Oh!
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you. That was a perfect description.
you you get it now.
Now I get it way better now. And I love the
Yeah.
Kiki girls. And shout out to I forgot the house because I miss Legendary on HBO Max. But a Kiki house actually won the second season, which is good for them to compete against like the ballroom girls like that. And
The big
Kiki is
house.
like the new and up and
Yeah.
coming girls and stuff like that. So
Okay. Well, yeah. There you go. Great analogy. Well, they're the Kiki girls.
yes, honey.
That's what he should have been all along. His record was abysmal before he got to the NBA. They only let him in because of his dad, and they gave
Oh,
him a chance and pushed him right back out.
yep. And Benji said the same thing in the chat. I think the only reason he went to the NBA was to play with his dad. Yep.
It was, yeah. I mean, it made the history, whatever. But yeah, they gave him that, and they, say, okay, that's enough. So yeah, alrighty, we won't miss you, LeBron.
So our next story is so I don't know if y'all know, but Liam Payne, his they just had his funeral,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot of people who attended the funeral, including his bandmates, his baby mom Cheryl Cole, and all that, including and even Simon Cowell. Simon is actually getting a lot of backlash
Hmm.
for attending the funeral. So I just shared this article from Board Panda, and y'all see it because a lot of fans kind of feel that Simon he prioritizes money over mental health. So because he did that, or because he has a history of doing that, they feel that Simon had a hand in driving
What?
Liam's addiction to drugs. So a lot of fans, So a lot of fans spoke out, was like, "Ugh, why is he there?" Of course, some people came to his defense, was like, "Simon ain't had nothing to do with that. Liam's a grown ass man."
How does he even figure
But yet,
into it?
uh, it says Simon didn't comfort Liam's family. He put him through this. He put them through this. Um, they found that his being there is audacious. Let's
Hmm.
see. Simon Cloud at Liam's Payne funeral. No one is holding him accountable for how little he does to safeguard the young musicians he thrust into the industry to line his pockets. Um, Somebody says, Simon Cowell, you are so disgusting. Seeing you being comforted by Liam's parents makes me sick to my stomach. Fuck off, Simon. You were part of Liam's pain. I feel so frustrated. Will this ever end? Hashtag justice for Liam.
Wow.
Oh, I guess Sugar Gigi agrees with that.
And I agree with them.
They say,
Yeah.
yeah, Auntie.
Is that Simon is kind of problematic. So
Okay.
yeah. So our next story. So it turns out that somebody is actually suing Netflix because of that Tyson and Paul fight, and they're hoping for this to turn into a class action. So after reading this article, I think they might have a case. I'm not an attorney, but I mean, so I just shared an article from the Hollywood Reporter. A man from Florida. Let me see his tell y'all his name in a minute. Da-da-da-da. His name was David something. Let me see if I can find it here. Well, anyway, while I look for his name, I'm gonna read to y'all, what he alleges in this lawsuit. Netflix was woefully ill prepared. Subscribers who had trouble watching the fight brings claim for breach of contract in violation of Florida law surrounding deceptive trade practices and consumer protection. Oh wait, I had to double check to make sure I was still connected to the internet. Woo, child.
I wonder if he has a case because what if the actual internet had a problem during that time? Like if you were on cable and cable went down, you couldn't sue like Xfinity for that. So I'm just wondering if he even has a case, to be honest.
Maybe, maybe not. I think so only because like if something like that were to happen, because you remember my background, I used to work in Verizon and stuff.
Hmm.
If somebody did have an outage in their services, we had to compensate them for the time that they were out. So like we'll put a credit on their account. And what he's
Right.
saying is that Netflix didn't do any of this. They didn't provide any kind of compensation. They didn't provide any refunds. They didn't
That's
do
true.
any of that.
That's true. Didn't
So
offer
that's
you a
why I'm like,
buffer.
he might have something here.
But suing, like, isn't he suing for like millions, a monetary amount or something? He's suing for more than just credit on his account.
Yeah.
That's what I
It
think.
doesn't specify. Yeah, it doesn't specify how much. It just said an unspecified amount, but I imagine it's for millions.
Well, I'm waiting on my email. I'm signing up.
You and me both. It says Netflix customer. The person says his name was David or something. Where is this man's name in this article? Netflix customers experience massive streaming issues and should have known better because this actually happened before. Says the complaint filed on Monday in the Florida State Court.
Mm,
Netflix declined to comment. It says the fight emerged as the most viewed sporting event ever on the platform, with 108 million people watching worldwide, according to the U.S. viewing tallies from analytics company TV Vision and
mhm.
Netflix's first-party data. Touting viewership figures, the company said that the fight brought in 60 million of its members' household, or about one out of every five subscription holders.
Hmm.
See, the lawsuit claims that viewers face streaming glitches and buffering issues throughout the event, with some completely unable to access the stream. It take issues with Netflix declining to offer refunds or discounts. That's what, subscribers started to complain of streaming issues at 7 p.m. Central Time, according to Down Detector, which monitors service outages. Nearly 3 hours later, there were roughly 97,000 reports. And he says instead of providing the programming its viewers pay for every month, Netflix was completely unprepared and unable to fix the issue, states the complaint, which stresses the company's failure to fulfill contractual obligations as they continue billing for services not delivered.
Yeah, I think I even read that even streaming something other than the fight was affected. The whole platform was affected, no matter what you were trying to watch. I don't know. But Will has his hand up.
Go ahead, Will.
So my question is, are they really suing over like the birthing issues, or is it because they saw Mike Tyson's ass cheeks on television?
Look, or all of the above. Oh, and the person's name is Ronald Denton. His name, it wasn't David. Ronald Denton
Mm.
is the person that started this lawsuit.
Good for Ronald if he gets me a few dollars. Okay.
Okay. And like I said, y'all, it was a kind of a slow news day, so I only got two more stories left.
What you have?
So the next one, Chad Ochocinco, honey, denies cheating on it. So him and his latest ex-girlfriend, Sherelle,
Mm-hmm.
Sherelle Rosado, she pretty much alleged that he cheated on her, and that's why they're not together anymore. She said she walked in on him and somebody else having sex in their bed. And then she even she made a comment on her Instagram, saying because somebody was like, "Well, girl, y'all ain't together no more." Well, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna shoot my shot, and she put laugh out loud. Well, I hope you don't get anything, or I hope you don't catch something, was her words. But he said on his show that Um, let's see. The former NFL star told co-host Shannon Sharp on his podcast he was unsure of what to do next. He did, however, make it clear that he was not responsible for the split. It wasn't me, he asserted. Let's see. Chad Ochocinco also took Rosado to task for discussing their split on social media. Yeah, you didn't have to be so public, he remarked. This is not the first time Ochocinco has been hit with cheating allegations, however. He was also accused of being unfaithful when he was engaged to Evelyn Lozada in the early 2010s. And then people are pointing out that Sherelle Rosado, she was actually cheating on her man with Ocho before they got together. So this is all just nasty and messy. That's why I love
Nope.
messy straight people business.
Yeah, but when you, I, I don't know. When you talk about getting married and being committed, seems like all of that will stop. You know, if you are doing it.
Yeah, it's supposed to. I tell you that, but mm-mm.
Well, Chad always impressed me as kind of being a narcissist and I can do what I want kind of fella.
Absolutely. However, if y'all see me together, if y'all see me and Chad Ocho Cinco honey in the same place, y'all mind your business and y'all
We're
just know
gonna
I'm doing
judge
okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna judge you. Just get ready.
And the last story I have for y'all, I kind of wish Happy was in here because I feel like she might know this person. Not saying that all tech founders know each other, but baby, this story is ooh, honey. So a man by the name of Greg Brady, he founded One Network Enterprises back in 2002. So y'all see that I just put a article from Daily Mail. Tech billionaire accused of trafficking women onto his yachts.
Oh,
He's Greg Brady. He's 64 years old, allegedly cheated on his then wife, Claudia Brady, using an online dating site to procure hundreds of women for trips on his luxury boats. Some of the women claimed that they were raped or sexually assaulted while aboard the boats, according to legal documents filed by his ex wife. It
wow.
says Greg Brady, who, and I hate his name. Why his name got to be Greg Brady? But anyway, Greg Brady, who actually bartended with Mark Cuban while they were in college, he's not facing criminal charges and has categorically denied all of the allegations. The
Oh,
Lord
Happy's
lawsuit
back.
emerged. What'd you say, Hunter?
Happy's back.
Happy's back. Hey, girl. So I'm just I can understand if you don't want to comment or anything, but are you familiar with someone by the name of Greg Brady who founded One Network Enterprises? Okay, so she don't know him. That's good, girl, because he's nasty, and his ex-wife is suing him, claiming that he raped or sexually assaulted hundreds of women on his yacht. And not only did he rape them, he gave them herpes.
Hundreds of women. Not one or two or three or four. Hundreds.
Hmm. So he actually has a. It says that the supply chain tech business is a Department of Defense contractor and was recently awarded $62 million contract from the United States Air Force. So he got money, money.
Mm-hmm.
And he says Claudia Braden's new filing claims his pattern was to locate women online, often through a website designed to cover such activities, millionairematch.com. Mr. Brady's pattern is to identify women he wants to have sex with, paying them using One Network funds to have them flown to the One Net yacht. That's the name of his yacht. It's called One Net in international waters.
Wow. Spend
Hmm.
big money to give them herpes.
Yeah, exactly. Nasty, nasty. Oh, yep, that's a good. I'm gonna ask the cup to see if he knows who this. Yes, he definitely might know who this person is, honey. Especially with this kind of contract.
Hmm.
She said, so I'm familiar with the One Network, but not him. Take revenge of the nerds. Wow. Girl, you are a mess.
That is crazy. This is
Hmm.
America, Bill. If you have money, you can get away with so much criminal activity. Um, I watch a lot of episodes of American Greed, and the way now when financial people do Ponzi schemes, they usually wind up going to prison and having have to pay restitution and so forth. They do spend a few years, but these food companies that knowingly uh, ship contaminated food. The guy, remember the peanut butter? The people who died eating peanut butter.
Yep. Hmm.
The way, oh my God, they had that story on this morning, and that guy, he has the most crooked eyes. I mean, he has a classic face. It was his eyes were so crooked, it was just crazy. But his factory was contaminated with. Okay, so they make peanut butter with peanuts, but there's a dust that comes off, this process. So you
Hmm.
can sell this peanut dust for use in other products. So he was making money hands over fist off the peanuts and using the dust. Well, the dust would just be sitting out, laying around for them to sweep up and package to use in other products, right? But this factory had mice and rats running around. They would be running through the dust, feces, bird droppings, contaminated water from all the stuff that was falling into the water. And so they have a lab to test, quality testing of their products, right? So for the Food Drug Safety Administration. So they started testing positive for salmonella. He had them actually use whiteout on some of those documents, falsifying them, knowing the products were being contaminated with salmonella. He knew this and was using falsifying information to fool the FDA and the people that were buying this stuff from him. Wound up killing 9 people, sicking thousands of people with this salmonella tainted stuff. It was one of the biggest recalls in America. Uh,
Honey, I remember like it was yesterday because this did it happen when in like 2006 or so. It
Around
was
there.
through, and it was through Jif. And how I know this because fun fact, I used to work at Target for 2 years,
Hmm.
and I did guest services. And guest services handle things like returns, warranties,
Right.
recalls, and stuff like that. And some people would now you remember when I said now, I just want to start off by saying y'all know I'm a proud North Carolinian, but
Hmm.
remember when I said that people in North Carolina, honey, a lot of us like the lights be on but nobody's home, and,
Hmm.
and some people like really don't really know how to put two and two together. So yes, you could get a refund from Target if you had the product. Some of these motherfuckers thought they could just bring in the top of the peanut butter and get a refund. I'm like, no, where's the product, honey? I'm not. We can't give you if you just give us the top. Where's the peanut butter? Oh, we threw it away because they said it had salmonella in it. Well, yes, that's true, but you still supposed to bring in the product, and we would throw it away.
Hmm.
So, girl, people was really trying to take them peanut butter tops and coming back to Target bothering me about some freaking refunds. I'm like, if you don't get out my face, please. Next.
That's funny. Yeah, that story was egregious, though. He really, really knew what was going on and that people were being made sick by this stuff. And he was so busy making money, living in his mansion and enjoying his yachts and so forth. A lot of these food companies, those people don't go to prison like those finance people do when they run their schemes. It's sickening
It really
how they
is.
don't pay the price.
And it's about to get so much worse. I don't know if you saw it, Chill, but I think I was just seeing something about ground beef being recalled
Yeah,
because of E. coli.
yep. I think it's so far it's only people in Minnesota who've gotten sick. Like I already
Hmm.
know what company it's coming from. I don't think it's nationwide from what I can see yet. But apparently this stuff was shipped to restaurants. It didn't say anything about grocery stores. So yeah, hmm That's why I say cook everything. I mean, cooking will kill E. coli. But you should never eat rare ground beef anyway. Period.
Yep.
But I know some people do it that way, have pink inside. You shouldn't do that, but cook everything. It's like don't trust no raw foods.
So wait,
Cook
you saying that moving forward, I shouldn't have my burger prepared medium? Because I love that little pink in the middle.
no, no. You could do steak like that because it's a solid piece of meat. But when you get to hamburger meat that's been ground up, if it was anything on the surface, it's now inside the meat and may not be
Ah.
killed by cooking because you're leaving, a little rare in the middle. So that's why they say never do that with ground beef, and certainly don't do it with pork because of parasites. But people, I've seen some tweets about putting pork in a air fryer. I'm like, not in my lifetime. I don't care what it is. No pork in the. I mean, other than bacon, I'm not cooking no whole, pork loin and stuff like that in the air fryer. No way. I'm not doing that. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it. It's only going to get worse because Trump is all about less regulations, and the
Mm-hmm.
CEOs love him for that because they can get away with doing things that wouldn't pass safety inspections, which leads to stuff like this: people getting sick.
And it is only going to get worse, unfortunately.
It is. It is. I mean, it's already bad because of all the regulations he got rid of when he was there the first time. They didn't
Hmm.
bring all that back. So they're already talking about opening up lands for drilling and all of this stuff, you know, preserved.
And
Not,
now a bitch can't even have a carrot, honey.
mm-mm, not a raw carrot.
Ooh, child.
Not if you treasure your life. I wouldn't eat any raw vegetables. Anything that come out the ground, I was telling Happy, if it grows on a tree, most likely it's safer to eat raw. But if it grows on the ground or in the ground, yeah, cook cook it. I won't eat a salad. Period. Because
Man.
how many lettuce recalls? They don't have any now, but you remember all the lettuce recalls they kept having?
Yes, ma'am.
The prepackaged salad and prepackaged lettuce. Oh, I didn't eat that anyway. I'd rather buy lettuce. I would wash my leaves in dish soap before I eat that. But I don't mess around with raw veggies.
Y'all hear that? Look, this is advice from free advice from a retired nurse, so y'all better take heed.
You
Shit,
don't
if anybody know what she's talking about, it's her.
you don't want to be the ground zero. The ones who are sickened before they realize what's going on. You don't want to be in that group because you've been eating raw vegetables
Yep.
and ain't none of them safe. There's been recalls on all of that. Now, stuff that grow on vines, I've never heard about grapes being recalled because they kind of fall up off the ground. But anything that grow close to the ground or in the ground, mm-mm. Better cook that.
Cook my meat.
Yeah. Cook it, baby. Cook it.
Well, y'all, that was all the tea I had for today. So before we head out, did anybody have any tea they wanted to share? Anything I might have missed? I kind of figured y'all did because it was such a slow news day today. But
It
we
is.
we
It
still
is.
had some tea to talk about. Oh, go ahead, Will.
Well, Blue Sky is now up to 24 million users.
Oh, yes.
Wow. They're really exploding still.
Mm.
I can't. They
And
say.
I'm noticing that people are using it. Like I try to, because
Hmm.
my problem was when I got on there a year ago, people weren't over there using it, and the people who were using it were corny as hell. I'm like, I don't want to see this corny shit.
Yeah, they weren't. Now that timeline is going.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It take me longer to get through the timeline on Blue Sky than it does over here.
So now we need to. I wouldn't be surprised if we moving forward when it comes to decentralizing the internet, it's not just the crypto bros anymore. Now that we're seeing that Blue Sky is a formidable source of decentralization in regards to personal information and the internet and such. So I'm very interested to see how this progresses the conversation, especially when it comes to that and Web3 and how that kind of advances what they're doing over in those spaces. So stay tuned. I definitely am.
Well, they're putting a lot of those people on blacklists. The NFT bros and
Hmm.
crypto bros, and of course the Nazi bros. The blacklist over there capability is top tier, along with
But
some of the follow lists.
I could easily see that. Well, yeah, I can easily see that turn into class action within itself because yes, it's easy to block folks. However, I'm also taking into consideration folks who are either impersonating people or falsely accusing folks of atrocious behavior, and they're being put on block lists, and that could be an issue of defamation and all of that. So hopefully, Blue Sky has something in place to kind of prevent that from happening because it could easily turn nasty real quick. Because people will people.
They will, they will, and that's why they tell you to vet, blacklist. Look
Hmm.
at the list itself and see, who's on it, and just don't blindly follow everybody that puts out a block list. But at this point, the ones I've been doing are definitely the ones who have very aggressive Nazi type names and things like that. I don't see much expansion outside of that yet. Um, I see what you're saying though.
They
The
really have
Yes.
to
people
get
don't.
a bookmark feature on that book because if they don't want to put a bookmark, at least like allow people to like DM themselves,
Yeah,
for content they want to watch later.
right. Yeah, it needs more features. I mean, I'm sure they're working on things like that, but it's going to take time. They have a small team, so
Yeah.
just as we had to wait for Twitter to grow, it's going to be the same there. But
To your
yeah,
point, Joe, like the vetting process, it gets more and more difficult, especially when these lists have hundreds of profiles there,
mm-hmm.
so it's easy for things to get missed. For my UX brain, it's like, okay, so how do they vet these people and putting on lists? And if these people are falsely accused of something, how do they go about challenging it or getting their names cleared? So we shall
Well,
see. But
they
I'm invested to see the progression of the app. I'm very excited about it.
they can complain to Blue Sky. I mean, they're not banned from Blue Sky. They're just banned from you seeing them. I
Right.
mean, it's just like blocking anybody. They can make a report. So I could see if it kicked them off Blue Sky entirely. Yes, that would definitely be a problem. But since that's not the case, they have a avenue to make a report if they feel like it's a problem.
Especially
Mhm.
when it comes to, well, my thing is, especially when it comes to offenses like raping and assault of those kinds, and people saying, hey, this person did XYZ to me, and knowing the internet, folks will read that and run with it without any additional context or that person providing any evidence that it actually happened. So
My
that's where
bad
my brain
gang.
That happens over here.
that's where my mind goes. So I know it goes into the weeds. I don't want to go that far down in this conversation, but it's interesting it will be interesting to see how the app progresses and how they deal with those types of instances. Hopefully it doesn't happen as often, but again, people will people. You know.
Now, I did see one post of someone that came from over here who has quite a big platform here, who complained because uh, they they were, I guess, red carded for their content about violence in Gaza. Maybe they showed some pictures of bodies. I didn't see the actual post, but I saw them post the message that Blue Sky sent them about showing graphic violence and so forth. Apparently, they don't want that kind of content there. It's not wrong to talk about Gaza, but they don't want you to be posting pictures of dead children and so forth. So um, it's a privately owned platform. I think they have a right to determine what they want on it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't disagree with it because personally, I don't want to see it. I've seen enough of it over here and enough of it in real life that I don't need to see that to know that it's awful. And I think most of the people that are over there came from here and have seen that stuff. And not seeing it doesn't make you not care, you know, about what's going on over there. So I can't fault them for, saying don't show that kind of stuff. I don't know. What you think?
I'm with you to an extent because I feel like some people actually do need to see to believe. Like people like you and me, like we have a heart. We empathize with people, and a lot of people don't really have that empathy. And you see how empathy is almost becoming a lost art. So until they see, because they can hear Palestine, they can hear Gaza, they can hear Israel, but
That's right.
they really don't know the seriousness of it. They just, they unfortunately they become buzzwords now, and I hate that. Where you hear like Israel, Palestine, and stuff like that. It just doesn't go any further than that. So people actually need to see what's happening, like, and then seeing dead children is like one of the quickest ways for people to, what's the word I'm looking for, radicalize, if you will.
I don't think
So
it changes many people's minds, though. We got people that deny the Holocaust, and we have whole movies and documentaries, showing the mounds of bones and jury that they took from these people. People are going to believe what they want to believe and
yeah,
or not care about what they don't want to care about, and those pictures aren't going to change anything in my mind. I don't think they do.
yeah.
I used to. There's. I was just thinking about this the other day. A lot of times, when you work in ICU, it's it can be an adrenaline rush to get a patient who has all of this stuff going on and they have all of these injuries, and you have to start all of these drips and do all these procedures to get them settled in. I mean, it's a whole scene. And a lot of people, healthcare workers, get a rush from that. And when it was a slow period, when we didn't have that going on or didn't have a lot of patients, I would hear nurses sit at the desk say, "Oh, I wish we could get a good trauma in."
Oh,
And if I was around, I'd be like, "Would you want it to be somebody you know? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
your niece, maybe your nephew, oh, maybe your son. How would you feel about it then? A good trauma." I said, "You are totally ignoring what happens to people, in the situation around this, like the families and the parents and all because you want to be excited to, get a good trauma. But if it was somebody you knew, I bet you wouldn't feel that way." And they would just look at
they
me
definitely would, man.
like I'm a buzz killer or something. I'm like, I have never wished
Well, I'm glad you did kill that buzz, cause girl, like if you bored at work, girl, get on the computer and play solitaire or something.
or
Like, what you
something.
mean? Like, come
Girl,
on.
I've never wished for no shit like that ever in my life. Never would I wish that on any child. Ever, ever, ever. That used to
Yeah,
piss me off so bad. It's like, oh, I gave him something to think about, though. Yeah, I know you have school age children. Let one of them get run over by a school bus and come on in here. See how excited you are. But anyway, I digress.
did y'all have any more tea to share before we headed out? Well, I'm gonna take that as a no. So now as of right now, I will be doing the show tomorrow, but if anything changes, I will definitely let y'all know. So I want to thank you. It is always a pleasure for y'all to be here with me. Thank y'all for coming to sip tea with me, and y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.